My name is Sonia. This is Sonia with an I. Thank you for joining us today. Today I am bringing you my five-star read recommendations. These are all books that I have read and I absolutely loved, but they do not fall in the cozy mystery genre. These are other books from other genres. I feel like it is very important to broaden my reading horizons, and even though I read about 90%, 80 to 90% of cozy mysteries, I have found a lot of five-star reads that are not cozy mysteries, and I'm going to share them with you today. So the very first book that I would recommend that was a five-star read for me, and I have a list here, is the Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. And this is the story of a cat named Nana. And Nana is a stray cat. He doesn't have a home. And he just kind of fights for food and does whatever. And then one day he decides that he's feeling kind of weak. He doesn't feel so great. And he goes and takes a nap underneath Satura's van. And Satura lives in an apartment. He has a really simple life. He doesn't have any pets, but he discovers Nana and decides that he wants to take care of him. And they end up becoming the best of friends. Later on, in years after, Nana is questioning why Satura keeps going to all of these people's homes and asking if Nana can stay with them. So they take this journey all across Japan, and Nana is trying to figure out this mystery of why Satura is trying to get rid of him. This is the most beautiful, touching story. Not only is it atmospheric because it talks about the seasons and really gets into great detail, but it also goes into the friendship of the pet with a pet owner, and it's told from Nana's point of view. And Nana is a sassy, funny cat. So I highly recommend this book to every single person who says, I want to read a good book. This is one of my very first recommendations. Like I said, I gave it 5 stars. It is the Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. I highly suggest it. The second book that I suggest to most people when they ask me is The House in the Celan Sea by T.J. Klune. This story is about our main character, and his name is Linus. Linus lives in a very gray world. He works for an organization that goes into orphanages where there's magic children and makes sure he regulates the facilities so that these children will be safe, but also that the world will be safe from these children. And his life is very gray. It's very boring. He comes home, he has a cat, he does the same thing day by day by day, and he just kind of feels like his life is nothing but his job. And one day he gets asked to go to the House in the Celan Sea because that is also an orphanage and there's some children there are very concerning. And he ends up going to check out this home to make sure it's safe, but also to make sure that the world is safe from these children. And in that, he finds color in his world. And this story is absolutely beautiful, especially if you've ever worked with children. If you have children as a teacher, this like plucked all of my teacher heartstrings. This story is lovely. I cried. I found that some of the magical creatures that are in this, even people, I've suggested this to people who are like, oh, I don't like fantasy. I don't like the magical stuff. They loved this book. So highly recommend The House in the Celan Sea by T.J. Klune. The next book, 5-star read that I have, is Hester. Oop, I just lost my place. Is Hester by Lori Lico Albanese. Hester is, this is a fiction book that is kind of tells the story of Hester Prynne and where Nathaniel Hawthorne got his inspiration for her. So in this story, it is about this brave woman named Isabel, and Isabel is very special because she can see things that others cannot. And her mother warns her not to share that with people because this is the time of, the persecution of witches. And she does magic with needlepoint, basically. Like she can do all of these things and she creates these very beautiful pieces of artwork. Well, Isabel's mother passes and her father goes grief-stricken and they end up being in the poorhouse and being very destitute. So Isabel finds this older man to marry who is that takes care of an apothecary. I think he's an apothecary, if that's what you call the person who does that. And she thinks that all of her dreams are going to come true because she's got this husband that will take care of her. And things start to go bitter. And they start to go downhill, and they lose all of their money, and they decide they will go to America for a fresh new start. While they're in America, then her husband ends up working on a ship and being gone long amounts of time. And Isabel finds that she's kind of bored, so she tries to befriend some people, but because she's a Scottish heritage, so she has red hair, and people are kind of leery of the red hair and all of that. But she ends up befriending Nathaniel Hawthorne, and things happen. This book is incredible. Not only does it has a gorgeous cover, but I really loved how the story, I like the Scarlet Letters, so I really liked how it kind of tied in and told the story of the inspiration of Hester. It is fiction though. So my fourth book is Wayward, and I don't have the author of Wayward, but I will have the picture of it, which will have the author on it. Wayward is the story of 3 women of the Wayward family. And it weaves together these stories in, it's Amelia Hart is the author. Sorry about that. It weaves together the story of these 3 women. The first is 1619 with Alpha, then the 1942 with Violet, and then 2019 with Kate. And they all have their own stories, but this book really ties in not only the story of their struggles as women and the things that they go through in their lives, but also the magic of being a wayward, because the waywards have this connection, this magical connection to nature. When I picked up this book, it was total cover pick because the cover is gorgeous. And I thought, ooh, cute cottagecore book. It is very dark. And I quickly learned that this was not a cute cottagecore book, but the story was incredible. It was one of those books that I could not put down, and I stayed up way too late reading. I gave it a total 5 stars and recommend this for anybody who doesn't mind a little bit of a dark, little magical tone, with a story about just women and their survival in the world. It was a lovely, lovely book. And the very last book that I have that I absolutely adored that I read was One Treasured Summer, and this is by my friend Carmen Hopkins. This is the story of Ruby Alice. She's 15 years old, and her father has died suspiciously, and so it kind of strains her relationship with her mother. And her mother soon, they get to where they don't have any money, so they go to live with Grandma Dorothy. Grandma Dorothy lives in Missouri, and she has never really known Ruby Alice, but she starts to build this relationship with Ruby, and then starts talking about Ruby's grandfather and family tales, and come to know the family tales have some treasure in it. So then Ruby begins to hunt for this treasure. This book is like sitting at an old Formica table with your sweet grandmother and talking about their past. I loved this story. If you love flowers and you love atmosphere and you love descriptions of things like that with a little bit of a mystery, kind of in a YA kind of storytelling, you will adore this book. I gave this a solid 5 stars, not because I love my friend Carmen, because I do love my friend Carmen, but it's just a beautiful tale. It is on Amazon in both print form and in ebook form. So I highly suggest this. So those are the 5 books that I suggest that are 5-star reads. Let me know if you've read any of these, or when you do read them, what you think. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you do give a like or subscribe, that would be awesome. I appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful day. If no one has told you how blessed they are to have you in their life, they certainly are. You make the world a better place just by being in it. Have a great day. Happy reading. Bye.